Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back down under the mat. We're here today to deliver a special episode for you centered around the announcement of WWE Crown Jewel Perth. They're taking over from the 10th to the 13th of October. We are keen. We don't have a crown.
I was just, looking like, do I have a crown I can put on?
We don't have a crown. Didn't we buy a King Vance one? Could have used?
Did we?
Or was that Logan?
I think
Probably Logan.
Yeah, it's not us.
Anyway, back on the topic of Crown Jewel Perth. It's been announced. We have the dates officially confirmed. Starting with SmackDown on the 10th of October. Crown Jewel Perth will take place on the 11th. We'll have our day off somewhat on the 12th of October. And then Monday Night Raw will be on the 13th. And, well, mate, we're keen. As soon as we got a sniff of this announcement on, I believe it was Thursday, I was just like, oh, here we go. And then they announced it, and I was like, oh, yes. And then I realized, oh, shit. I was going to try and book a work conference that week.
No, you're not.
I have given work forewarning. I'm going to have some dates sometime in October to put in for leave, and it might clash with that. So we haven't booked anything for it yet, so that's fine. We were just going to go down to CyberCon in Melbourne.
Right, yeah, fair call. I think there's also PAX or something's on the same weekend too.
Yeah, PAX Melbourne is on, so
same weekend.
Lots going on in Australia.
We kind of called this early October thing a while ago on our first video when we were calling Bad Blood Australia.
Oh, I really got my hopes up about that, eh?
I know, and you did a really good job of that little logo and stuff.
Yeah, even together. All I did was just trying to make a fake poster. And then I somehow changed the colouring of the image to be blue. And I was like, hey, that looks really good. And I just ran with it.
But we kind of picked that this was the week that it was going to, this week or the next week was going to be the time it was. Because it fit outside of the football seasons. It was before Metallica went in Perth. It was that sort of quiet period, school holidays time for everybody in Australia as well. So it made the most sense. And I think that it's probably going to be a really good time because, I mean, October is not February. So those that went to Elimination Chamber last year, when we went and stood outside for the press conference waiting for Triple H and that to come out, it was 40 degrees in the sun.
I turned into a tomato.
You got very sunburned.
Yes,
I got extremely dehydrated.
I had my hat babackwards like Dan, and I just had a patch, just bright red.
Put my hat down for you. No, I'm not even going to do it.
Nice.
I remember that day, we ended up going to the pub to meet Ted and his mates afterwards, and I was struggling to walk. It was that hot. I just needed water. October, you're looking at, 20 to 25 degrees, so low 20s.
Perfect weather. Does look like it's going to be a little bit rainy, though. Apparently, that's the Western Australian wet season, so keep that in mind when you do your packing.
Take a poncho.
Poncho, umbrella, maybe a jacket. Might get a little chilly when the rains hit, but I think that's peak weather, to be honest.
And I think that the positive for Perth, obviously, is school holidays. You're going to get a whole lot of people coming over to Perth to do travel and, the normal stuff. Like last time we went, this little podcast is going to be a bit of a chat about the pay-per-view itself, but also just the experience of going to Perth. There's a lot of stuff to do in the city. It's not a huge city by comparison to Sydney and Melbourne and stuff, but it's still quite nice.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you are going to go travel over there, definitely take the time to go and see Rottnest Island. That was super fun.
That's top of the recommendation list for outside of wrestling.
Go see QUOKKAS. And again, the positive for us will be it's not going to be 40 degrees over there because we walked around that island and it was very hot on that day.
Yeah, I had to make sure I had no black clothing on whatsoever.
Fremantle's really nice. There's breweries and stuff down there. Yep. Perth, really nice. I'm really keen to go over there this time with a bit of experience so that we sort of know where to be and where to go and
then
how
also
long things take.
New interesting hobbies as well. Go check out some
Pokemon cards.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Didn't want to out myself on the podcast, but I'm 100% down that rabbit hole. So
yeah,
that'll be fun. More money to sink.
Let's talk about the events. So we've got SmackDown on Friday, which should be fantastic, and then you got Crown Jewel Saturday, Raw on Monday,
and one of the local promotions, Explosive Pro Wrestling (EPW), have announced a show already for the Sunday evening called "This Is Our House" at the Willetton Stadium.
Oh, it's the basketball stadium we were at last time.
So the one that we were at last time, which Again, it was shit then because it was really hot, so hopefully it'll be better.
And there's no
this
aircon.
time. Yeah, so should be better situation this time. But that was where we sat a couple rows in front of Kevin Owens and Rhea Ripley. We had Delta, who now is Zarya, come right beside us down the entrance ramp to do her entrance at the show because she was headlining. Definitely would recommend to get to that show. I'm hoping they do it as a sort of super show again. I assume because they've announced it so far in advance, they'll start getting other promotions on board from around Australia and just do the same thing they did last time.
Yeah, I saw Tuckman and Scotty Green and Kingsley and like all the local wrestlers that we follow share that post. So it seems like that'll be the case.
Yeah.
They'll all try and get on that. And hopefully there's maybe a local show on the Thursday as well before WWE gets into town. Because the way that it was last year, because they had just the Elimination Chamber on the Saturday, we had the press conference and everything on the Friday. This time we're going to have SmackDown. So if you look at what they've done with other pay-per-view events in towns and stuff, they do the press conference
the day of SmackDown,
then into the SmackDown, then into the pay-per-view, and then onto Raw.
Yeah.
So I think we'll probably get something similar.
Man, it's going to be a crazy weekend. So to give people an idea of like location and timeframes as well, Rack Arena is in Wellington Street, which is smack bang middle of Perth CBD. It is a 10-minute walk from Forest Place, which is where the WWE Superstore was for Elimination Chamber last year. So I assume they'll just put it in the same place because it was a big area enough to hold the merch tent and deal with the lines. Big lines. So hopefully it'll be a similar sort of setup.
You have to buy another title belt, aren't you?
I don't know. My other one just sits on the bloody shelf. I don't know. Maybe I'll spend it on something.
Sit it on the bloody set right here.
Yeah, I probably should. Maybe I'll bring it over.
Maybe we'll see.
Yeah, I'll bring it over.
I like the Superstore last time was really fun. There was a lot of merch that we don't normally get locally to buy. But also the fact that they kept on getting, different wrestlers to come through and do signings and things like that. Like we saw Asuka and Kyrie and a few different people around the Superstore, so that'll be fun. I like the location of it. We've discussed that if it was going to be a PLE that they were going to bring, it should have gone to Optus Stadium for the 40 or 50,000 seats because they don't do pay-per-views in not big arenas anymore. But being Crown Jewel, when they take Crown Jewel to the Saudi shows, which is where it has been historically, it's always been a Crown Jewel show over there. They're only 10,000 seats. I'm guessing they're the money that they make from the Crown Jewel show does not come from ticket sales. It comes from Saudi spending millions and millions of dollars to get them there in the first place.
Yeah, which is what Perth has done as well.
Correct. Exactly what Perth has done. So the government has paid that deal with TKO.
Yeah. So those people complaining online, why isn't it in Sydney or Melbourne? It's because they're not going to pay for it. Perth is paying to get tourism, to get the WWE over. And it works because we're going again.
You even saw that with the announcement this week. Like you had the Perth Senators and the Perth... I was going to say Prime Minister, but it's not. What's the,
Premier.
Premier, that's the word I couldn't think of. Having Rhea and Grayson Waller come out and do press conferences and stuff with them. They were there for 3 days and they took them around to the zoos. They took them on the sand dunes.
Got some democracy sausages at Bunnings.
100%. They really milked them for all it's worth. And I think that's what Perth have invested their money in is how do we pump up our tourism?
You get WWE superstars to showcase all the exciting stuff that you can do in Perth. Them doing ATV riding around the dunes like that, I want to do that.
I'd go do that for
sure. I want to do that. So let's talk a little bit about prices for a little bit. So you've done some online sleuthing. So I think we've kind of figured out that the baseline for each show, we're looking about a $200 minimum Australian dollars per show. So you're looking at maybe around a $600 minimum if you're going to attend all 3 shows, which we are going to try to do.
Yeah, we'll give it our best shot. I think last year for the Elimination Chamber, our tickets were about $230-ish, and we were kind of mid-stadium.
Yeah, and we were towards
mid-ish.
the back.
I think there was tickets cheaper than that, $100 or so off the top. So maybe they'll have them. The reason that I'm saying that about the $200 price, I went and sleuthed for Clash in Paris, the Paris tickets, which is in a stadium. It's about 30,000 seat stadium, but like an indoor stadium. And they have deals for the Clash in Paris event on the Saturday and the following Raw, because that's going to be filmed there. And they were about €600 or something, which equated to 450 Australian dollars.
Yeah.
And that was a ticket in sort of the top level of the stands for both the pay-per-view on Saturday and the Raw was about $450.
Yeah.
I'm guessing it's going to be something similar. Whether or not they'll do combo deals, so you get SmackDown and the event, or the event and Raw, or you get all three, or you just get singulars, will depend. Looking at the way the Clash in Paris was, because I'm picking that because it is an international event. Obviously, the tickets for SummerSlam and stuff in America are
astronomical,
way different to what you're going to get international markets. So I went off the Paris stuff. The things around the ring, the one I think I pointed to you was the Jey Uso aisle. So if you got into the Jey Uso aisle where he comes and he yeets down through the crowd, it's about $1,600. And that was for, again, Raw and the pay-per-view to be sort of in that area. So I think depending on what the costs are going to be, it's going to be from a couple $100 to a few thousand, depending how much you're going to spend. And again, the problem that we have with Australia is that us coming from the East Coast, you've got to pay your flights and accommodation and everything.
Yes.
And Perth are okay with the higher prices because it's a high mining area and there's cash to be spent in Perth. That's why the government is spending money on it. That's why they want people to go over there, because they want tourisms to come in and spend money there. So I would be budgeting, if you're looking to try and do all three shows, for at least $500 on your tickets.
Yeah.
Plus your flights, plus your accommodation. And accommodation we've looked at, it's about, depending how long you want to stay there for. Yeah. We've gone for the 5 days.
Yeah, 5-day baseline. So we're flying in on the Thursday. We haven't booked flights yet, but we'll fly in on the Thursday and we'll fly back out on the Tuesday after Raw. And for a hotel for those 5 days, your baseline is looking at about $1,500 for a hotel. Airbnbs are a different situation, but it also depends on who you've got coming with us. So $1,500 we've booked a hotel for 5 days. That's split between 3 adults. That's a pretty reasonable cost to split between 3 adults. If it's 2, it's going to be more pricey. If you're looking to go solo, I hope that you've got a lot of money in the bank, to be honest.
Because, if you look at, let's say $2,000, you roll up your accommodation. Yeah. You got $500 minimum for tickets, $2,000 for flights, give or take. I mean, it's probably going to be about $1,000 return.
Quick jump on yesterday when the announcement was made. 2 days ago, when the announcement was made. And I had a look at flights, and it looks like at the moment from Sydney, the baseline is about $350 plus.
Yep.
One way. So that's what you've got to take into account, $350 one way. If it's out of Canberra, which I'm thinking we might do.
Oh, we're going to try to Canberra.
Well, me and Annie might do. My wife. Looking about 400. Just my wife. Looking about a 400 baseline from Canberra. Haven't checked Brisbane or Melbourne yet, but apparently it's like $800 flying out of Melbourne for some reason. People have commented from last year on our social media pages, so I'm just going off comments. That's all. I think that was maybe a total cost, $400 for flights out of Melbourne, maybe, like return.
Obviously, the more you leave it, the closer to the event. The more it's
try and secure accommodation and flights as soon as possible if you haven't already.
But it's going to be a super fun weekend.
Yeah, absolutely.
I am sure that I'm going to be all wrestled out, because if there is a local show on the Thursday when we get in, 2 things on Friday, pay-per-view on Saturday, at least the EPW show on Sunday, plus Raw on Monday.
Instead of energy drinks, we're going to have to get those little shots of energy, 5-hour energy bursts.
Yeah.
To keep us sustained.
Do you reckon we can get him in a Tuckman hat with the things on it?
Oh, absolutely. Can we get it that says Tuckman? Tuckman sucks.
Yeah, well, we know we can't wear that for Slam, but still. The thing to me too as well is going to be what we saw with Perth last year when we were at the Elimination Chamber was the superstars were just around.
Yeah.
They were just hanging out the stores. They were at the local shows. They were at Rottnest Island. They would have been in and around. So if we know they're going to be there from Friday to Monday at least, you've got all weekend to see them.
Yeah.
So
be if you do see them, kind of try and assess the situation before you approach them.
Yeah.
If you see a superstar or two and they're swarmed by 50 people, maybe hold off. Don't add to that already claustrophobic crowd feel. If someone's just walking, I saw some videos when Bobby Lashley was in Perth last year. Mm-hmm. He was just strolling down the street and walking with people and snapping a quick photo, and then they go off.
That's totally
fun. Just nice little quick interactions like that. I don't think they'll have too much. Yeah. But again, just read the situation.
Because if you didn't see Drew McIntyre's post WrestleMania, where he was talking about the fans, and Randy Orton retweeted it and said 100% and stuff, was his post was, in general, use logic. But if we're in an airport and we've got to get somewhere, let us be.
Yeah.
I'm happy. He said, I'm happy to snap a photo with you if we're walking past. If you say hi to me, that's fine. But if we're busy or we're trying to get somewhere, leave us alone. Also, don't bring your merch to the airport and get me to sign it, because there is signing sessions for that.
Yes.
And that is a very key point that I'll make here. They're going to have signing sessions. They've got to have the superstore. Wrestlers will be there at the shows. Get them to sign there. Don't hang out at Perth Airport for them to get on their plane and ask them, can you sign my little toy belt and my shirt and my hat?
This
Go
and
away.
that and that. And
that is the point where they will happily tell you to F off, and I agree.
Yeah.
But in general, they'll be happy to sort of snap a photo, say hi and things. I think CM Punk has said it a fair few times that he needs to go to the gym. If I've got my headphones on and stuff, let me be. I want to just do my thing. But if I'm finished and I'm walking in and out, say hi and snap a photo. That's fine. A lot of this is just treat the wrestlers with the respect that they deserve, because yes, they are superstars, and yes, you want to see them, and yes, they are your entertainers and people that you're really keen to see, but they are also human beings, and just let them be.
Yeah.
Don't think that you are entitled to anything from them because you watch them, or I've paid money to come and see you at a show. I deserve to have you. No, you don't. You deserve nothing, right? The wrestlers have every right within their ability to say no, thank you. And if they do, accept and move on.
Yes.
9 times out of 10, they will be polite and they will take that photo and they will, shake your kid's hand or whatever, and that sort of stuff will be fine. And if you are at a signing session, that's their job. They'll sign whatever they want.
You mentioned us seeing Oscar and Kyrie when we were there last year around the merch tent, because they just finished a signing session and they were waiting for a taxi to come pick them up. And we saw them and made eye contact, and we just waved and just that was it. We didn't go over and bug them. We just let them have their space, because obviously not everyone deals with social interactions the same. So you also have to be aware of that as well. Like some superstars, they might get really socially anxious, and then after they've done their signing session, they might kind of revert to themselves in a way.
Yeah, just want to
let people have space to breathe and then go on with their lives.
And we've told on this podcast several times the stories where we sat with Rhea and KO at the local wrestling event. Lockie went up and got photos. He ran down and saw Grayson. A lot of them are more than happy. Yeah, in Indy. Yeah. So they're all happy to do that kind of stuff. But a lot of them also wanted to make sure that the focus wasn't on them. The focus was on the local wrestlers.
Yeah, because Grayson walked past. We're like, thank you, Grayson. And he's like, hey, no. Tonight's about them. It's not about me.
Yep.
He rightly so. He called us out on it. So just if you do see them, just be respectful. Because I know there were a lot of times when we were sitting down behind or in front of Rhea and Kevin that were like, oh shit, they're right there. Oh, do I go talk? Do we go get a photo? And we sort of as adults made the decision no, well, let's just leave it. Lockie was really itching to go get a photo. So
he did.
I went up with Lockie to take the photo, and then I got to say, thank you, Rhea and Kevin, for that. Love your work. Got to shake their hands. So
yeah. And so I think the basis of this whole rant around the wrestlers is be respectful to them.
Yes.
There will be plenty of opportunities to see them across an entire weekend. So use those opportunities wisely. But also use those opportunities to see the local wrestling. If there is a local show on, if you do have the chance to go to EPW or any super show or anything else that is done that weekend, go and see it. Because we say it all the time on this podcast to support local wrestling.
Local wrestling.
We saw this last year, and last year was the first time that we saw Delta.
Yeah.
And then we went and saw her again in PWA, and then the next time we saw her, she was in NXT.
Yeah.
So
you never know who's going to be up on that radar next.
100%. All right. Before we wrap up on this, let's actually talk about Crown Jewel.
Let's do some predictions, because Crown Jewel, as they did last year, were for the champion versus champion, the Crown Jewel Championship.
And WWE have already confirmed that John Cena is announced and will be at this event. That's 2 of his dates.
Yes.
2 of his dates.
Minimum.
Will be Australia.
Maybe 3. Who knows?
Could be 3.
It could be all 3 shows. Who knows? Just make the most of it. That's why you need to go over. I want to at least try and have a chat about those Crown Jewel Championship matches and try and figure out who's going to be in it. Because it makes so much sense. Crown Jewel Perth, Rhea as either champion, because we've got a draft coming up at some point before Crown Jewel. Mm-hmm. She can be WWE Women's Championship. She can be World Heavyweight Champion. Rhea will be going into Crown Jewel Perth as champion, and she will be coming out as Crown Jewel champion. That is my prediction.
Okay.
I don't know who it's going to be against, but that is my prediction. Rhea goes in as champion, and she comes out with that Crown Jewel championship.
So the assumption then is that we've talked about this in our other podcasts, but we think that maybe what they're setting up in storylines at the moment is Io against Rhea. And we've said that Rhea can't beat Io.
Yes.
So if we're going to pitch my storyline, which is Mummy in the Bank.
Mummy in the Bank.
So she wins. Rhea Ripley wins Money in the Bank. She can't beat Io. So she has a match. Did she have a match at SummerSlam with Io as Money in the Bank?
No.
Loses, cracks the shits, destroys Io, then cashes in post-match and then finally beats her?
No, I think sometime before Money in the Bank, Rhea has another crack.
And loses.
She gets Money in the Bank, and then that's her avenue to finally pin Io.
So then you're saying that maybe Io at SummerSlam faces Bianca, retains, and then Rhea cashes in.
Perhaps, yes.
Okay, all right. But that's the pitch that we're having for Rhea to become a champion.
And depending on, like, you say Io versus Bianca at SummerSlam, I just thought just now my dream match would be Rhea as one champion, Bianca as the other, and they fight at Crown Jewel Perth to be Crown Jewel champion.
I can't see that happening, but okay.
It all depends on
the draft.
The draft and Bianca's healing time frame, because she's out with the injury with her fingers at the moment.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think that's going to be super long. So.
No, I don't think so. So, okay, so we got Rhea on the women's heavyweight champion side.
Yeah, let's say that. And then
the other side would be currently Tiffy.
Yes. I'd be well enough happy with that.
Well, we got Tiffy over in an Elimination Chamber last year.
Exactly.
Australia loved Tiffy time.
Loved it. Okay. Book it. So we got a couple options there. Rhea versus Tiffy, Rhea versus Bianca. So
Rhea versus Jade?
Exactly. There is a lot, but Rhea will be in that match.
You're determined of Rhea. Okay.
Yes.
I mean, I'm also not against Rhea not being in that match and just having a marquee match herself. So you could have just a Rhea versus Bianca match.
Yep.
Not with the title. But I guarantee Rhea will be on this card.
Oh, absolutely. And I'd say if he's not in a match, Grayson will have another Grayson Waller effect segment.
Can you stall the Austin Theory and Grayson Waller?
No, please don't stall it for another 6 months, bro. Oh my God.
So no. So
hopefully Bronson's back by then, and
Bronson should have a match.
Yeah.
I would love to see Bronson versus Seth Rollins. They put that storyline together.
That was a really good feud when that happened last time.
That would be fun.
Because even though Seth won, like Bronson still managed to get up after, and Seth was like, shit.
Or even Bronson against Braun. Braun Strowman.
Bronson.
Braun Strowman. He's been released.
Braun
Breaker.
Bronson rejoins Seth Rollins.
Nah, I can't see that happening.
Nah, Braun's got to be the muscle in that.
Isn't Bronson Reed technically still in the bloodline?
Maybe.
Okay, so we've got that's the women's side. Yeah. We believe it's probably going to be Rhea and Tiffy.
Yeah, for now.
So men's side, John Cena. You're going to retain.
I think John Cena goes on a pretty long tirade with this title,
and he stays heel. We've got heel John Cena still as the WWE champion because he's going to go through Randy Orton. He then goes through CM Punk and Money in the Bank.
Yep.
Who does he go through at Paris?
Is he even booked for Paris? Surely he will be.
I assume he's booked for all of the major pay-per-views now that he's WWE champion.
I don't know.
Do you put him against AJ Styles and get that crowd again?
Bro, lock it in, mate.
Just
because
AJ...
their feud back in 2017, 2016, like that was banger feud.
And that's who we want
to revisit that.
All right, so then we've got, and then so who's he face at SummerSlam?
That's got to be a big match. I feel.
Is that a Cody rematch?
Well, I was going to say, is that a Cody rematch or is that a?
I think Cody's the one that beats him at the end.
Yeah, I think that'd probably be best for business. Does Roman come back into the title picture at some point? Roman Cena go another round? Because they had their amazing feud as well. To revisit, I feel like that's what this year should be about. John Cena revisits all his absolute banger feuds. We're getting Randy Orton. We want CM Punk. I want Seth Rollins.
Yeah. So that
we want AJ Styles now.
That's your pitch. Well, yeah, AJ was my fault.
Yeah.
So then let's say it's Roman, and then we've got Crown Jewel. So Crown Jewel we think is champion versus champion.
Yeah.
You want to see Seth Rollins versus
I think
John
Seth
Cena
is going to be gunning for that World Heavyweight Championship again sometime soon, and I think that was a pretty pivotal part in not only Seth's history but John Cena's as well, because they had that WWE champion versus United States champion winner-take-all match.
Yep.
And Seth beat John Cena for it. But now, John Cena can beat Seth Rollins and walk out Crown Jewel champion.
Okay. It's going to be heel versus heel. Admittedly, both heels getting cheered by the crowd at the moment. So who knows what happens in the next couple of months.
That's the fun thing with wrestling at the moment, is that heels are relatable and likable heels.
Except they're low blowing and hitting people with title belts all the time. The Paul Heyman one was so good. Okay, so we want to pitch then that somewhere between now and then Seth gets the World Heavyweight Championship, and we have Seth versus John Cena.
Could be a SummerSlam marquee match.
Okay, so you have
takes it from Jay,
Seth, Cena, Rhea, Tiffy.
Yep.
Bronson has a match on the card somewhere.
Grayson has a match somewhere.
Grayson and
I don't think Zara gets called up by then.
No.
Maybe give her like a nice dark match spot on one of the Raw or SmackDowns, like a pre-show.
I could see her doing something on one of those shows.
Yeah. That's all the Australian talent we've got, isn't it? All the other ones have been released.
Yeah, there's no Indy, there's no Duke.
Yeah. Sad. There's no Aussie adjacent.
There's no Dakota
anymore. God damn it.
Yeah, okay. Well, I think that I'm mostly interested to go. I mean, Elimination Chamber was super fun.
It was a hell of an experience.
It was hard to see in ring with the massive chamber around it. So this time being in a smaller arena might be better to watch.
I think I feel like comparatively speaking, our position at AEW Grand Slam Brisbane, that was pretty good. I was watching the ring the most of the time.
Yeah.
And having a view like that for Raw, a pay-per-view and SmackDown, like even if we did get seats that far back in the arena again, I wouldn't be mad at that.
Oh, I think
we're going to be
fine,
there.
100%.
The atmosphere is going to be amazing. So,
do you reckon Lockie's going to be able to get us a chair?
Mate, he got
Challenge
that one.
set, Lachlan.
He got that one.
Get us a chair at some point on the
We're
weekend.
going to have to go out and tell him.
Yeah, no, I'll make him watch the YouTube video and pump our likes and subscribes up.
Like and subscribe, please. Follow us on all our social media platforms. I think with that, we'll probably wrap it up. We've got some predictions in there. We've got some hints and tips for all things to do in Perth. Support local wrestling being a key one.
Yep, and go see a QUOKKA.
Go see a QUOKKA. Would advise hiring a car if you're going to be there for multiple days. It makes it a lot easier to get around if you want to get down to Freo and go down to get the ferry over to Rottnest Island. And hell, even go north or east if you want to.
Well, you can't really go west because...
Yeah, it's the ocean.
Although we did go
west to Rottnest Island.
We went to the beach in Freo and watched the sunset. That was really nice too.
That was really nice.
Very romantic.
Try and make sure you get some, everything's going to be happening, but try to make sure you get some downtime to yourself as well to give yourself a little bit of a breather. We had that a couple of days where most of the day we just hung around the house in the morning, just chilled out, recovered from the previous day. And then in the afternoon, got up and out and about. So
I think what I'm most interested to go and see is the different experience from a pay-per-view. So watching Elimination Chamber last time was the massive pay-per-view event, 50,000 people in there, all the bells and whistles of that one event, everything being focused on that.
Yeah. So now we've got two other
seeing
shows.
some TV shows and seeing how they do TV, because you're going to have the different, camera cuts, the different the Netflix segments and different things.
I'm surprised you didn't pitch that, mate. What if Liv gets the title back and then it's Liv and Rhea and we get to rehash that feud?
Because Liv's off filming movies being way too important.
Not being a tag team champion.
But when you watch the Netflix streams now with the
they've got constant stuff during the ads.
Yep. And I think that will be very interesting
Which
to
makes
see.
it really annoying trying to watch shows back after the fact.
You're missing it?
Because, they just cut all the ad break.
Yeah. Is there an option in Netflix to play the whole thing?
I don't know. I'm going to have to look into it.
Do you reckon we can derail the crowd by singing Horses by Daryl Braithwaite on Netflix or something?
I hate that song, bro.
Yeah, but
it's a terrible song.
The crowd will sing it.
Yeah, probably.
Start Aussie chants.
Yeah. It's going to be fun.
Robbie.
Oi, oi, oi.
Nah, that's it.
That's it. That's all you get.
You're welcome, Robbie.
That's all you get. Hopefully we'll see Robbie at the Super Show.
Yeah, it wouldn't be surprising.
Maybe we'll get Zack Sabre Jr. this time.
Another TMDK reunion.
That was so good. We got baited so hard.
Yeah, look, book your tickets. If you have better questions and stuff for it, jump into our Discord. Link is down below because we are obviously talking to our friends and stuff that are already on the Discord about who's going over.
Yep.
We'll all try and book tickets and stuff.
Peer pressured someone into joining.
Yeah, of course. So any questions, shoot us a message, comment, like, subscribe, all that sort of fun stuff for us. And if you are planning on going, hit us up because it'd be really fun to meet a bunch of fellow wrestling fans.
Bloody face. Stand out in a crowd, apparently.
Well, that's only because you're a little bit taller as well.
And it's the chrome dome.
You have a nice shiny head.
Maybe I should start shining my head. I mean, it's kind of reflective a little bit, but...
Yeah, it could be more effort into it. It'd be right.
I'm freshly shaven this morning.
Yeah.
So it feels pretty good.
This morning, was it?
Yeah, it's this morning.
Exciting.
Yeah. Anyway, we will see you next time down under the mat, and we hope to see you at Crown Jewel Perth. Too sweet!